It was a roller coaster of a second day of the LV County Championship match between Glamorgan and Derbyshire at the SWALEC Stadium in Cardiff, although it is the home team which will be the happier of the two at the halfway stage of this contest. Derbyshire, replying to their host 282, was soon in trouble on the second morning. Billy Godleman trapped in front by Graham Wagg after only 8 runs had been added, the overnight score of 8 without loss. Wagg continued a good all-round match for him by bouncing out Ben Slater, who was caught by Dean Koska to depart for 18. All eyes were then on Indian Test star Cheteshwar Pujara, who produced this lovely drive on his Derbyshire debut. But he was out for 7 as Jim Allenby found a little movement off the pitch to have the Indian LBW. 58 for 3 became 68 for 4 when Wayne Madsen was another LBW victim as Michael Hogan fired in a perfect Yorker. And it was 78 for 5 in the morning session as Wes Durston was another to see the umpire's raised finger after being hit on the pads by Allenby. It had certainly been Glamorgan's morning, but Derbyshire began to fight back a bit after the break, Gareth Cross sending this ball from Koska over the rope. Cross decided to go on the attack against the spinner, making a runner ball 30 and adding an important 49 runs for the 6th wicket with Alex Hughes. But then both batsmen fell in quick succession to put Glamorgan back on top. Cross was yet another LBW victim, this time to Hogan, and it was leg before number 6 out of the 7 wickets to fall when Hughes was on his way to Wagg for 24. Wayne White tried to get his side on the move again with this maximum of Kieran Bull, but it was the 19-year-old spinner who was soon putting his side just where they wanted to be after first having David Wainwright driving to Koska in the covers and then removing Tony Palladino, who turned to Will Bragg behind square on the leg side. That left Derbyshire in dire straits on 153 for 9, 129 runs behind. But once again, the game began to turn, White smashing a second 6 off Bull, while last man Mark Footed had a bit of fun, using the long handle to find the boundary 5 times as he and his partner added 50 runs in 7 overs to at least earn their side a single batting bonus point and to reduce the deficit to a slightly more manageable 79 runs. White was the last man out for a top score of 38, driving Allenby to Wagg, leaving Footed undefeated on a season's best 26. A good start to their second innings would now have the Welshmen back in the box seat, and that's just what Jacques Rudolph and Bragg gave them. The pitch remained a beauty, or so it seemed from a distance. The truth of the matter was that only Wagg and Chris Cook had managed to make a 50 on it, so clearly there was something in it to keep the bowler interested throughout. Both of these batsmen got into the 20s, opening up with a stand of 61 in 13 largely untroubled overs. But then 3 wickets fell for 2 runs, Rudolph the first on his way, eventually being given out LBW to White. With his next delivery, White also sent Gareth Rees on his way for a golden duck, and yes, you've guessed it, it was yet another leg before decision. In the next over, Hughes then removed Bragg for 22 with an edge behind to leave the home side on 63 for 3. That gave them a lead of 142, and more wickets now would have had Derbyshire right back in this game. Instead, Allenby and Cook threatened to take the match away from them once more. They made the most of anything dropped in too short from the spinners, and it looked as if it was going to end up being very much the home side's day after all, as these two saw out 23 overs in adding 75 runs to take their team more than 200 runs ahead on a pitch which should take more spin in the final innings. But 2 late wickets then gave Derbyshire some hope. On 43, Allenby nicked off to White, who then grabbed his 4th wicket of the innings by bowling Cook for 36 in his next over. Night watchman Koska and David Lloyd did see out the remaining 3 overs, preventing the wonderful White from adding to his figures of 4 for 27 from 9 overs. It all means that Glamorgan ended the day on 145 for 5, and that has them 224 runs to the good going into the second half of this enthralling contest.